And a former carer at the centre has spoken out about the disturbing culture within the Oakden facility. She agrees that the government has no excuse for not knowing sooner what was going on. Gia Laux with more.
Registered nurse Kate Branshide witnessed what she describes as the pure torture of a resident at Oakden.
I went looking for him about 11 o'clock in the morning. I wondered why he hadn't come down to the dining room. He'd been left sitting on his commode. This was the middle of winter. This place wasn't very warm. He was stark naked, sitting on the commode, covered in faeces, and he'd been there since about 7:30 in the morning. He was blue with cold.
That was 15 years ago, and there were other incidents.
I saw aggressive behaviour from the staff towards these people, and I heard of worse things that other staff members had seen, of people being hit and having their arms twisted behind their back, pushed face first into the mattress, just because they were being noisy and difficult.
The nurse complained to authorities before eventually leaving the aged care home, and what she says was their culture of abuse.
I think the unfortunate thing about a culture is that it gets shared. So people might not have gone into that facility to work in that facility with that state of mind, but eventually you adopt that state of mind. The attitude really was that these people were not that significant because they were old psych patients, really, and they were kind of on the scrap heap.
What has been uncovered at Oakden over the past decade is some of the most horrific abuse and neglect that we could ever imagine.
Advocate for the disabled, Kelly Vincent, among many criticising the state government for its response to the shocking revelations of abuse and neglect.
I don't think there's any excuse for the government not to have known what has gone on, given that care concerns about Oakden have been raised at least for the last decade.
That's not the only reason Ms Vincent says the Mental Health Minister should resign. Despite the many red flags, Lisa Vlahos was the minister for 13 months before she even visited Oakden.
The earliest time that we could find it, after some rescheduling, was in February this year.
The fact that the government could suggest or pretend that they didn't know enough about what was happening there, it's not a new thing. They have known for a long time.
If the buck does not stop with the minister responsible for this portfolio, with whom does it stop?
It's not just this minister's fault. Other ministers have come and gone and they've done nothing.
The home is also supposed to be overseen by the federal government, which found major failings in its own audit last month. The department saying only that it agrees with the action the state government's now taking to shut the facility. Gia Laux, 10 Eyewitness News.